This is Ryan with Ratchet Rides. Today we'll be installing some fog lights in my Miata. Here's some tools, parts, nuts, bolts. So fog lights that I got. They're just cheap, $10 for a pair for the two of them, so pretty cheap. Got these couplings. Got the shrink plastic on them. And we got soldering iron, lighter lot soldering iron, and that's about all the tools we got. And we're gonna put those right here in the front. I'm gonna install them about here. Just fit in for options that I got. There's some holes here, here, and here. And then if you look up at the top, there's two brackets, or two holes for brackets here and here. So I might utilize those so I can tilt them down, assuming they're not too close together, but I think it'll do the job. Alright, so I looked around a lot on forums and everybody's like, oh, there's this little green wire that's the headlights, and I figured it out. It's gonna be this little guy right here. This is a 93 Miata. And so that we're gonna route here, down along the edge, through the front of the radiator, into that front section. And this is a positive lead here. So when we wrap it around, we're just gonna send the negative to ground, and that'll connect the whole circuit. The other tricky thing was finding, so when you pop this open, it has this connector is connected to the plastic. However, if you fish behind that one, there's this other connector, the green and red wires on it. And that's going to be the connector that connects to that green light, or that green cable up front. And see, I've got it jumpered here, makes electrical continuity, so that's a positive lead over there. However, I'm going to clip this off and install a switch, which will look a lot nicer. But yeah, that's that. Alright, so I've gone ahead and wrapped the light, some of the more open areas with the electrical tape, just to kind of waterproof it a little bit, since this will be in the front of the car. If you buy more expensive lights, probably better quality, but it's fine. I think that'll work quite alright. I lost one of the screws because I've been kind of delaying this project for a while, so I just kind of made one of my own. Yep. It's that Ratchet Ride quality, you know? Alright, I've gone ahead and wrapped up the cable that goes to the halo on the outside of the light, and with the main cable that goes to the light, and twist all those ends together. I got my positives and negatives there, and that'll just help protect that cable, since these outside cables are pretty fragile. So that's that. Start point and end point. Prep those lights up. Alright, so here's what I got for my wire path. Went down below the light, followed the wiring harness that's under here, if you can see that, and then there's a hole in front of the light here, so I routed it through there, and I pulled it down along here. There's a spot where it pops out if you pull it straight through there, straight down, and then through I buy these hydraulics for, I believe this is for steering, power steering. Voila. That keeps it plenty far away from the radiator, so I don't have to worry about melting the wire. And I'll hook that up. Gotta trim off all this excess. Hook that up. Good screen light for positive. and then we're gonna run negative to ground, and we'll find ground. Yeah, I'll have to find a ground in here somewhere, hook it up to. Alright, so we got my cheap Radio Shack multimeter, and we're gonna use this to find a ground. Switch to resistance. Pick a spot in the body somewhere. The bodies in these cars are supposed to be grounded. And connect it to the test point. And this point on the frame where I scratched a little bit of the paint off, get to the bare metal. And then this screw right here. I'll also scratch a little bit of the paint off. Give us about 2 ohms resistance, which would be quite fine. So we'll put the negative here. Now we can just put this bolt down, we'll hold it in place. Super easy ground, we're good to go. Alright, so I tested the ground, a little spot on the frame, just scratched off the paint a little bit, get that ground of the frame, and then tested this bolt here, and we got a decent ground, had about 2 ohms of resistance. So I'm gonna clean that bolt up, and we'll put our ground lead here, coming back from our lights. It's real close by, and should tidy up real neat. So clean up this bolt, basically. Got some vice grips to hold it with, and we got a wire brush, and we're just gonna brush all of that rust off there until it looks bright and shiny. Alright, so we got our screw shined up a little bit and give us a lot better electrical continuity, as well as the hole put it into, clean it up somewhat, but it'll probably be fun. Alright, so my mixed hardware that I'm going to install these with, I've got these wing nuts, these tiny screws, these lock washers, and that's going to go through these holes that are in the front, and put the wing nut on the back, tighten it down. I'm going to drill another hole here for the other side of these brackets that come with these lights. These 2 holes, and then those should install right about there. I'll put one on the other side, and then figure out angles and such and tighten them down. Alright, so we're going to solder this up to our positive, negative, negative. I like to do take the wire, twist these ends together, and then do a twist on this side, and basically just wrap these around each other. We should get like a nice strong bond when we put the solder on it. Voila. Basically, we're just going to heat up the wire until the soldering melts into it. Smooth that out with the tip. What you should be left with is a nice tight wire when you pull on it. So, wrapped my lines with shit whack electrical tape, so hopefully that keeps it fairly water resistant in conjunction with those shrink wrap connectors, or couplings rather. Yeah. Feels pretty solid. Alright, let's put these bad boys in. So I got those screwed in, wrapped them with a shit whack of duct tape, and holders on the side are pretty flimsy, so I wrapped it with a lot of duct tape, and hopefully it'll stay on. Alright, got these wired up, looking nice. Perfect. The ground point worked nice. I cut the rest of the trim, just kind of bundled it up in case I need to use some later. Same thing on this side. Closes that spot right there. And that's gonna be green wire here, red wire there. Want to jumper it bottom to the top, and we'll go over. I'm going to install a switch, so I'm going to cut this clip off, but if you're going to use the OEM plug-in, if you're going to use the OEM plug-in, that's how you'd want to configure it. Another thing I wanted to point out is that this does connect to the regular lighting circuit, so turn off lights, lights. And that will work. Regular headlamps. Not sure about how the circuit works for car, but yep, that'd be it.